Let's talk about a really powerful daily habit from Jack Ma. And no, this isn't about hustle culture or waking up at 4 a.m. just for show. This is all about owning the first hour of your day, really owning your mind and who you are, before the rest of the world gets a chance to mess with it. So let me ask you, who really owns that first hour? Is it you? Or is it your phone? Your email? That endless scroll of other people's perfect looking lives? Because here's the thing. Your entire life tends to move very quietly in the direction of the very first thoughts you have in the morning. Most people live in a reactive morning. They wake up, they grab their phone, they see the news or stressful email, and boom, their mind is immediately noisy, fearful, and totally distracted. They start the day playing defense. But an intentional morning? Well, that's about taking control of your inner world first. It's really the difference between being a passenger and being the pilot of your own day. This whole idea of an intentional morning wasn't something Jack Ma was just born with. Oh no, it's a lesson he learned from a long, painful history of getting knocked down over and over again. I mean, just think about this for a second. He failed his university entrance exams multiple times. He got rejected from Harvard 5 times. When he applied for 30 different jobs, he was turned down by every single one. Even KFC rejected him. After that much failure, it's so easy to just give up, to start believing you have no control at all. For a long time, his identity must have felt completely broken. And this is where everything changed. He had this powerful realization. It doesn't matter how many times the world tells you no. You, and only you, have the ultimate power to choose the story you tell yourself. No one can take that away from you. And that is exactly where he started to take back control. So how did he do it? It wasn't with some empty, feel-good motivation. He replaced all that morning anxiety with deep, purpose-driven questions. And these questions shifted his focus from blaming the world to creating courage and responsibility from the inside out. And what's really fascinating is where he started. See, before Alibaba, he was a poor English teacher. So instead of waking up and complaining about his low salary, he asked himself this one simple question every single morning. And you know what? That one question changed everything. It forced him to get better at explaining tough ideas, to practice storytelling, to really connect with people. His confidence grew, and his students learned better because they could feel his energy. He was literally building the skills for Alibaba without even knowing it. But he didn't just stop at serving others. He also focused on himself. By asking this question every morning, he basically committed to always be learning, practicing his English, talking to foreigners, and making mistakes without any shame. He was building an identity, brick by brick, the identity of someone who is persistent and courageous. Now, when he was building Alibaba, that fear of failure was always there. The fear of embarrassment, of letting people down. This question became his anchor. It pulled his focus away from himself and onto the mission. And that's a powerful trick to overcome that paralyzing fear that everyone is watching you. The vision of helping small business owners, that's what gave him the courage to keep going. And this habit guided him right through a major crisis. When the internet bubble burst and everyone was panicking, he didn't hide. He asked himself, what does a real leader do right now? And the answer was always the same. Stay calm, be transparent, and think long-term. That habit is what made sure Alibaba survived when much stronger companies were disappearing left and right. Okay, so that's Jack Ma's story. But the crucial part is how we can actually use this. Let's take this idea and plug it directly into your morning routine. For instance, if you're learning a new skill, instead of being terrified of mistakes, ask, what mistake can I make proudly today? If you're struggling with money, ask, what skill can I learn that increases my value? See what these questions do? They perform this crucial little shift in your brain, moving you from a state of threat to a state of challenge, from fear to actively looking for solutions. And this isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Every morning, Maz was reminding himself of who he was choosing to be. Not a winner obsessed with results, but a learner focused on the process. Not just lucky, but responsible. Not building for short-term applause, but for the long-term future. This is how you completely transform failure. By asking what you can learn, you're actively reframing what happened. You're turning every setback into guidance. The pain becomes wisdom. The very things that used to break you down, well, now they become the fuel for your growth.
Look, this is not a quick fix. The real power of this whole thing is in its consistency. It's all about the compounding effect of that daily intention.
It's this simple idea that tiny, consistent actions lead to massive results over time. If you can just get 1% better every single day, those little improvements build on each other and eventually create a complete transformation of your skills, your career, and your life. And this is so important. Ma didn't stop this habit even after he became a billionaire. Why? Because he believes that success can actually be more dangerous than failure. Success can make you arrogant, lazy, and blind to new threats. It's the perfect breeding ground for complacency. So his questions evolved. They got bigger. He started asking, what are we as a company ignoring? Which customers are being left behind? What's the one thing that could destroy us if we don't adapt? These questions were his secret weapon to fight against getting comfortable, keeping him and his entire company humble and on their toes. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? That quiet moment of reflection, asking deep questions, and deciding on your purpose-driven action before the world has a chance to distract you. If you do that consistently, one day you're going to look back and realize that this one small habit, repeated patiently, changed absolutely everything. So I'll leave you with this question to start your own intentional morning. What is one small action you can take today that will fundamentally change your life in the next 5 years? The answer to that question, well, that could be the beginning of everything.